what's up everybody? This is Fragmented. Just want to say hello. Thanks for watching this. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for checking out the channel. You guys, this is my first video of the year. I just wanted to start off by saying thank you for supporting me thus far, and I hope this year that you guys like what I bring to you. I'm going to try out some different things and see what works, what doesn't, and basically that's it. But for this video, being that it's my first video of the year, I wanted to touch on a subject that is passionate to me. Now, for those who may know of me from my numerous podcasts with Dark Cloud, my numerous group discussion videos with my buddies, Broken Games HD, Dark Cloud, Young One HD, and KFD 017X, all these guys that I've done videos with in the past. I'm a passionate gamer. I have a lot on my mind, and I want to just talk about one major topic today. And the major topic I want to talk about today is the rising animosity towards Japanese developers. Okay, I'm not that guy. I'm not sitting here trying to defend them because I think they're perfect. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to say that they can do no wrong. I'm not trying to say that their games are the best games. I'm trying to say that their games are, to this day, still very much functional. A lot of Japanese developers get flack for falling into ruts, i.e. not changing up their gameplay, not evolving, doing series that continue to reappear throughout the decades. In this case, you could say Nintendo, Square Enix, Konami, Capcom, you name it, you know. And these game companies, their business philosophy is different than Americans. There are a lot of American companies, I should say, a lot of American developers. And in short, you know, a lot of American developers, these are people who grew up playing these games. You know, they grew up playing these Japanese-based games from Mario to Resident Evil to Final Fantasy to, you know, you name it. You name a big Japanese title made by a Japanese developer, and you can guarantee that most big developers that make games today in the westernized gaming world basically play these games. The biggest thing is that nowadays we have these generations coming up right now who excuse me, have no appreciation or at least no patience for a type of gaming era that no longer is the dominant, I guess you could say, force in gaming. You know, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, JRPGs, Japanese action games, strategy, you name it, any genre that you could name out, with the exception probably being shooting, to be fair. Japanese developers were the forefront in that field, and nowadays, because their games don't appeal to Americans or people who are fans of westernized games, such as Call of Duty, Battlefield, Uncharted, any of these really huge AAA titles that people like and love so much. You know, if these game developers aren't adhering to what the American audiences, European audiences, Australian audiences want to see, they're being chastised for it. And I'm seeing all over the internet, big time YouTubers talking about how Square Enix, for example, has fell off. And it's like, how did Square Enix fall off? I'm myself, I'm an MMO player. One of my favorite genres is MMO. Yeah, anybody who's played MMOs in the past 10 years, you probably heard of Final Fantasy 11. I'm not sure if people know anything about that game. A lot of that game falls into a very niche crowd as far as MMO players. And many people think that game is actually over, but it's not. In truth, Final Fantasy 11 has over 20 servers, still going strong. All these servers are very active, and so has thousands of players online at any given time. With its follow-up or spiritual successor, Final Fantasy 14 had a crappy launch. Here's a quick update for you. They fired the team associated with they didn't fire them, I'm sorry. They transferred the team that started the game to different projects. No one was fired. They reassigned a brand new team to the game. with new developer, new everything really. Even most people who used to work in Final Fantasy 11 over to the new game. My point is, the games are still successful. They still hold true to all the values that if you grew up playing Final Fantasy, what you expect to see in a Final Fantasy, it's there. It may not be over the top like you might have saw in Final Fantasy 7 or 8 or 9, but every aspect of Final Fantasy, from lore to storytelling to presentation, all of that still holds true in the current Final Fantasies. Yes, that does include 13. You may not care for the story or the character, but honestly, a lot of Square Enix games, their primary audience, and it should be for this matter, their primary audience is an audience that's been most faithful to them, throughout the years. And that's the Japanese audience. It's a fact that Japanese games sell better in Japan. And with that said, they're not going to fix what isn't broken in their own country to just make everyone else happy. They're going to try to do both. They'll try to bring in aspects and work with other teams and from westernized developers. But in truth, they're not going to try to change the game entirely and just throw away staples of gameplay that people have come to know from them. They're not going to do that. Anyways, my point is that just because you don't like what a company is doing, in particular a Japanese developer, doesn't mean that there aren't thousands or millions of people who are buying their products who do like what they're doing. The thing is that I think people need to realize that as a gamer, your taste is going to change. When I started playing games years ago, I didn't like RPGs. I didn't like action games. I didn't like strategy games. All I liked was action games. That was it. I didn't like shooters either. I hated shooters. Now I like every genre. And I own games that fit in every genre. But that's my gaming taste, and it's changed, and it's changing again. I find myself falling more into the MMO category every year. Right now, I'm head over heels addicted to Final Fantasy 14 and Star Wars: The Old Republic. So yeah, I can't emphasize enough that as a gamers, your tastes change. So just because a game company isn't doing what you want them to do, doesn't mean they're not being successful. That they're not making quality products. They're not changing their culture in their games to appease the westernized audience, because for one, they don't have to. They have plenty of people who play their games, who will import their games, you name it. But the bottom line is, you have to stay true to you as a developer. I guarantee you, Ubisoft, Bethesda, who else is there? BioWare, Naughty Dog, any of these big time westernized developers, if their games aren't flying off the shelves in Japan, they're not saying, how can we attack this again? How can we approach this and make our games, basically throw away what works in our country and in other territories and give the Japanese players what they want? Because that's essentially what most American players are asking. They're saying, we want Final Fantasy VII, the game we fell in love with, over a decade ago, again. And every, for Final Fantasy 15 on up, we want more Cloud, we want that, but we want a updated version of that. And it's like, you're living in the past, you have to move on. Cloud's era is over. I mean, he may get a remake one day, but for now, his era is over. He's done. So, Square Enix is moving forward. They have great games that are coming out still for Final Fantasy 13-2 to Final Fantasy 14. The relaunch this fall, between September and October. They're calling it 2.0, but it's a new engine, it's a new story, it's a new everything. Everything has changed. So they're relaunching that game. You have Final Fantasy Dragon Quest X for the Wii and Wii U. You have Agito, Final Fantasy Agito, for the PSP that's coming out in the States pretty soon, sometime this year. And who knows what they have in the works for the Vita and for the 3DS. You just can't shun these companies because they're not putting out what you want. Fine, just admit to yourself that I'm not happy with what I'm playing. I want to play something else that appeals to me right now, and that's a shooter, that's a a fighting game. It can be whatever you want. But the bottom line is just admit that your taste has changed, and that's really the root of this problem. Well, anyways, this video's went on long enough. I have no idea how long it is. I might delete the whole thing. You guys will know if it goes up or not. Anyways, thanks for watching. Talk to you guys later. Check out the Facebook group, Anime Gaming Society, and add us. We'll add you to the group. We talk about gaming, anime, video games, you name it. If you made it this far, I'll mention that again later. Maybe do a Q&A later. For now.
And tell them why they pay me. Tell them who I am. And tell them who I ain't. Tell me why you love me. Tell me why you hate me. 'Cause you fucking